देखो भाई, ड्रग अब्यूज मीन्स पहले तो ड्रग पेडलर्स को फांसी की सजा लगनी चाहिए, जो ड्रग्स इंपोर्ट करते हैं उनको कैस्ट्रेट करना चाहिए। क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है, ड्रग्स ऑलवेज स्टार्ट्स विद बुरी संगत में। बेसिकली समवन इज टेकिंग ड्रग्स एंड यू वांट द अदर पर्सन टू टेक इट। हम जो भी बुरी आदतें करते हैं, वी स्टार्टेड बिकॉज ऑफ फैशन एंड स्टाइल, स्मोकिंग, ड्रिंकिंग, ड्रग्स। चलो, दे से यू शुड ट्राई एवरीथिंग once, but drugs is something you should not even try once.
I think more than popular, it's probably peer pressure to get into drugs. There is one black sheep that says, "Oh, I've done drugs, you must try too," and then it starts spreading. I think that's why it's supposed to be restricted, and your self-control is very important there.
There is a slightly rebellious experimental phase that teenagers do go through. Where we do like to experiment, we do like to do things that automatically our parents would consider wrong, and things that we shouldn't do. And I think the natural rebellion in all of us wants to sort of like try those things out, to kind of feel that okay, life is long and nothing will happen. So I think we all went through that phase. Designing a lot of friends who went through that phase. So did I.
I believe that if we have a good life, if we have been given everything by the grace of God, I don't think we need to go into something to spoil our lives. It's just like taking on something which is bad, and that's why I haven't ventured into drugs or smoking or drinking. Just completely out of it, and I'm happy. See, I mean, of course, keeping aside all the glamour aspect to it, you can have parties. Parties is good to celebrate. You can celebrate your birthdays and whatever success you have. To unwind, to chill is very good, but to what limit do you take it? Is it really necessary to get into the raves? Is it necessary to take it to an extent that you can't turn back? I think that is a question that we must ask ourselves and try to stop ourselves from doing that. I don't know how much to blame the parents, and I think it would be really sad to blame the parents in that case, because to see your own child in a rehab center is very, very sad for a parent. And I think more than the parent, it's about everyone's self-control.
I think it is a natural tendency to try something new, in terms of which people will call it about that it's bending your mind, or opens up your mind, or it's liberating, or it's fun, or it's energetic, or whatever. I mean, because there's so many different kinds of drugs, there's so many different kinds of experiences that can be had with them, and I think there's a natural tendency for people to sort of like get out of their sort of like box and just step out of the box and try something new, and that's why they do it.
Why do you need a booster for your creativity? If you are creative, you will be creative.
Not good. I mean, that's why you call them cheats, the people that use them. I mean, there is a certain spirit that's involved with sport, and certain ethics that you follow as a sportsman. And again, I mean, a lot of people have been caught doing it. Some of the top athletes have been caught doing it. Some cricketers have been caught doing it. But that's why they get the lengthy bans that they do, which is never good for any sport.
We have to realize one thing, that whatever people might think, there is no turning point really from the whole thing of drugs. You can't turn around, because what is done is done.
See, I mean, there are places like Holland where cannabis is legal. I mean, you can smoke grass and things. Sometimes they say it is better to legalize a few things, so ताकि थोड़ा control रहे उसपे. But a vast country like India will be very difficult to control. So I think those are very small countries that have made it legal. Like Amsterdam would be the whole of Holland would be as big as Bombay.
Okay.
And the population of Holland would be Bandra ka population.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like very easy to have something legally and controlled. Not a vast country like India.
See, I mean, each and every country has their own views, and you can't really talk about it because they're living their own lives there. They have their own government, they have their own perspectives. But for India, I don't think we should make it legal, because just because there's a murder happening every other 3 minutes in the country, you can't make it legal, right?
Yeah.
You can't spoil a country by making something wrong into a legal thing. Our country is something that we must look at, and till what we've seen, the examples that we've seen from all these things has always turned out to be bad.
I have no regrets for what I did, but at the same point in time, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do drugs, and I wouldn't associate with people who would, and I wouldn't encourage people to do drugs at all.
I mean, it's leading to young girls getting into prostitution, which is very sad, just to get money for drugs. and its boys are committing crimes just to get the money for drugs. So I think we really need to address this.
Again, spreading awareness. I suppose a lot of people later on realize how much of an effect it's actually had on their system. So if they know it beforehand as much as you can only create that awareness. I mean, it's not physically possible to stop people who've made that choice, but if, as much as possible, if you create that awareness of how bad it can be, that's probably half the job done.
I think एक बहुत ज़्यादा awareness create करनी चाहिए कि what can happen to you. I mean, ठीक है, आप एक addict हो और आप you go into a rehabilitation center और ठीक हो सकते हो, लेकिन drug एक ऐसी चीज़ है, like an overdose of heroin, overdose of LSD or cocaine can actually fry your brain.
I don't think I have to give out any message. You all guys are doing it, and it's simple. Let's smack it down.
LSD, let's smack it down this time.
LSD, let's smack it down.
Let's smack them down, LSD.